Hello, guys. Thanks so much for coming in tonight. Happy Thursday. It is new block day here on the Splendid Sampler Quilt Along. Thanks, replay viewers, for coming in, and thanks, YouTube viewers, for watching. YouTube viewers, if you'd like to join in the chat right here, you can join Periscope. Just download the app to your phone and search for Penguin and Fish. I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. We have a new block. It's New Block Thursday, and it's embroidery. All right, I'm going to flip you guys around, and we'll get going. Hey, guys. How y'all doing tonight? So it is a New Block Thursday for the Splendid Sampler. We get new blocks every Thursday and Sunday. Here it is. It is a cute little embroidered heart. It's called Hearts and Flowers, and it's by Fiona Ransley. It is just adorable. Here, you can see it a little bit bigger here. I've already printed it out on the sticky Fabricelvi, and I will show you how to use that tonight. Yeah, I know. I had to put exclamation points on the 60 because it's crazy. We are on block 60. I kind of got the feeling tonight that like, oh my gosh, we're almost done with this. That's so sad. So I got that feeling's coming on already, guys. So if you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery and a fabric designer, and I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. And I should also mention, I'm the illustrator of a children's book. We're having a big sale for that going on right now, so you can, if you're not on the newsletter yet, you should go check that out. It's going on until this coming Wednesday, and it's a good one. So just go to penguinandfish.com and join the newsletter there. If you want, of course. You don't have to. So, all right, we are going to get embroidering tonight. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll get cracking. Oh, your son loves it. Yay. Okay, that's so nice to hear, Ardra. I really, that's just like, love that. Love that he loves it. Okay, guys, so we are doing embroidery tonight. And if you've been with me before, you know that my favorite way to transfer embroidery to fabric is using this silky, sticky Fabricelvi water-soluble stabilizer. So here's what it looks like again. Sticky Fabricelvi. It's blue. You need all these words in it. Sticky Fabricelvi. It comes in a roll usually. If you go to like a big store, like a Joann's or Michael's or something, it usually comes on a roll. I like having the kind that comes in an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper because then you can run it right through your printer. Would you ship the book to the UK? I can ship it if you get it from penguinandfish.com. You'll still get the special on it, but it has to be at penguinandfish.com because for some reason Amazon doesn't want me to ship internationally yet. But yeah, so if you guys can't find the 8.5 by 11, I mean, we do carry it at penguinandfish.com, but if you have the stuff on the roll, you can actually stick this to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper like this, and then run it through your printer still. So you can still use this to print right to it. And the reason I like using it is the fact that you can print right to it, because transferring the design of an embroidery, I don't know anybody who finds that fun. you know, when you have an embroidery, you just want to get embroidering, right? You don't want to try and figure out how to transfer it. And especially with, like, I'm going to use this fabric, which is all sorts of crazy. It's this blue, kind of mottled, tie-dyed almost looking fabric. It's one of the ones for my mom's stash that I stole from her with her permission when I was visiting her. But to transfer it to a dark color like this can be difficult. You can't easily trace through it like you can if you have a light colored fabric. So another thing you could do is use a carbon transfer paper, like a dressmaker's carbon. It's actually called carbon-less transfer paper, but it's similar to carbon paper. That comes in some lighter colors, like a white and a yellow. It usually comes in a mixed colored pack. But if you take one of those lighter colors, you can transfer it. And what you do there is you take your printout. This is just my normal printout. Lay the carbon paper down first, and then lay it down, and then you trace with like a dull pencil or a stylus if you have one. But a dull pencil would work. Then that would transfer basically like a chalk or waxy chalk to your fabric, your dark colored fabric. So that's another way to go. But me, I like my sticky Fabri-Solvi. And so this we just stick like a sticker onto our fabric, and then we'll stitch right through it, and then when we're done, we'll just wash it off in water. Just kind of soak it and agitate it a little, and that's how it will come out. So I'm going to start by cutting this out. So I want to get going right away. And I have a fun thread that I want to use tonight too. So I'm not going to cut out the whole outline. I don't really need that. This design's centered in the block pretty much. So I'm just going to cut around the edge so it fits in my hoop. I like when the embroideries fit in my hoop, so I don't have to squish the Fabri-Solvi very much. This barely fits in my hoop. I think this is a 6-inch hoop. A 7-inch or an 8-inch probably would have worked a little bit better on getting all of this in the hoop, but I think the 6-inch will work. I want to leave a little bit of an edge around just so there's like something for the fabric to stick to. But I am still trying to trim it so I can fit it in the hoop. All right, so don't ever throw this away. Your scrap, you can use this for smaller embroideries. I'm actually going to use the scraps to make more of that homemade fabric from the scraps. I did a video on that a few months ago. Oh gosh, it probably was a few months ago already. I'll do it again with my Splendid Sampler scraps, where we put the Fabri-Solvi on top of all our scraps and then zigzag all over it, and then we dissolve the Fabri-Solvi to just reveal just a fun new fabric that we made. Oh, you like that, Cara? We gotta do that again. I think that was really fun. And my scraps are, we hardly got rid of any scraps doing that last time, so I need to do it again. I need to do it like 4 times over to use up my tiny, tiny bits. I'm keeping all my itsy bitsy bits. I mean, this is kind of a bigger scrap, but I'm keeping all my little scraps, and that's what we've been making that fabric out of. But next time I do that, instead of using a sheet of this, I'm going to use all my little extra bits that I have laying around of this Fabri-Solvi. So that'll be a good way of using that up. So I am going to save that. Just dropping everything. All right. So I got this guy cut out. I just realized this might be a little funny for us stitching because Periscope and my phone like to change. Oh, it's not doing too bad, but when I have a blue fabric like this up close, it kind of likes to adjust the color of the whole thing, but it looks like it's not being crazy. I might have had like bright yellow hands for a little while there, but it looks like we're good. So you can press this. I'm not gonna, just because having it in the hoop will kind of make it lie flat, and I didn't get all the ironing stuff out tonight. So I'm just gonna kind of frame this in the hoop a little bit just to know how much fabric I need. So I for sure have to remember that this is going to be cut out of a 6.5 inch. I need enough for a 6.5 inch square when we're done here. So I want just enough to have my fabric hang over the hoop a little bit. So I think I'm just going to cut it out by hand here. And this will be plenty, I'm thinking. And again, I'm using all my scraps, so if I have a little bit left over, you know what, I think I'm just going to cut it all the way to the top. That'll be easier. So here is my embroidery thing here. So ultimately, you know, fine, never mind. I was like, ultimately I'm gonna cut this off and use it, but you know what? I'm gonna cut it off now, just because it's a little easier to embroider when you don't have all this extra stuff hanging around. But all right, there we go. So I'm gonna stick this just right in the center. So it has a paper backing, the Fabricelli. Sometimes it's annoying to get off, especially when you cut out a shape like this. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too hard. So there we go. Then you can just throw away the paper. And I am going to stick that right in the middle. And there we go. So we are going to stitch right through the Fabricelli. You can just, the line was really thin in the printout, so you can barely see it, but there it is. All right, so let's get it in the hoop, and then we'll start looking at threads, at floss. So you put the little hoop underneath. Got little puzzles here. I feel like we haven't embroidered in a while. I mean, we embroidered on the bunny a little bit the other day, but I don't know. I didn't count that. That still felt more like stitching on top of applique. I didn't feel like it was like a full-on embroidery. So, all right, I'm going to tighten this a little bit, just enough to hold it, and then I'm just going to kind of pull on the fabric a little bit. I want it taut, but I don't want to pull it so it stretches. I just want it taut enough that I don't feel like any loose kind of bloops in it. Bloops is the technical term. Starting now. All right, and then I'm going to just tighten it a little bit more. And after I'm done embroidering for the night, I'm going to take it out of the hoop because I don't want the hoop to crease the embroidery. And the longer it's stuck in here, or the fabric, the longer it's stuck in here, the more likely it's to just kind of crease the fabric. I mean, we'll press it when we're done. All right, let's look at threads. So first of all, in the instructions, there are suggestions on what stitches to use and what colors. I think I'm gonna stick to what the stitches are for the most part. At least, you know, that's what I think now. But I think I'm gonna veer a little bit from the colors just because I picked this wackadoo blue to stitch on. I think I might stick even to the whites and blues, but we'll see. Let's just look at the colors and we'll see what we come up with. You know, actually some greens and stuff might be fun. I haven't quite, you can kind of tell, I haven't quite decided if I want this all one color or if I want to do all the different colors yet. I've been kind of doing just the one color for a while, so I'm thinking I should probably do more than one color, but it's going to be a little odd on this blue. So, you know, this blue is kind of fun because it's the same on both sides. It's one of those like tie-dyed ones. So, since this fabric was so crazy, like just tie-dyed like this, I thought we'd amp that up even more and use a ton of variegated floss. So I have oodles and oodles of this variegated floss. Look, I have 3 whole bins of this variegated floss that I got from Weeks Dye Works. And I thought it might be fun to dig through here. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, but I thought it'd be fun to, you know, try digging through it tonight. Finding some good stuff. Like there's, you know, look at that purple. Oh, see, they have the best names for their colors too. Like this one's called Grape Ice. Like, how could you name that better? You know? I think that's awesome. So I thought we could, maybe we'll just in general look at the colors here that they have listed and try and find some that work well with it. And you know what, just so we can see the blue a little bit better, I think I'm going to flip it this way, and then we can look at the design here as our reference just to see what colors. So for the outside, I almost kind of want to do it like a white, but let's see if we can find a fun red alternative that would work for that, like something that implies red but looks good on this blue yet. I'm kind of thinking maybe an almost pinky white might do the trick. Let's see what else we got in here. And you know, there's some really crazy colors in here. We're going to spend this whole time picking colors. I have a feeling. I'm going to try and pick really quickly so we're not here all night. But I kind of like the idea of a white heart, but I do want a little bit of that pink in there. So let's just grab a few really quickly. This one is a white with a little bit of pink. I think that might be a little too white, but let's see what else we got. You know, I still want this to be kind of subtle and have the blue be the main event still. Oh, this is kind of pretty. This is got a little bit of purple in. You know, maybe we want to just go even, you know, we could still go like a blue-ish tone to all this. You know, we could do the heart. We could do the heart this kind of, oh, look at this one. This one's, oh, you know what? It's called Morris Blue, but when it was still blurry, I thought it said Mom's Blue, which would be a cute name. So I'm just keeping on grabbing. That's a little green. I don't think I want that. Totally just grabbing from here. This one's got some brown in. That might be pretty. I just don't know what I want to do, if I want to go monotone or not. Hey, we could do something like this. So this is kind of like a muted. These are kind of muted. I kind of feel like I like this kind of muted look on this blue versus, you know, some of these really kind of so light ones. So why don't we pick a few of these? Like this would be a cute, ooh, a dusty red all the way around would be pretty. Let's see if maybe we can find one of those in this muted sort of look. So that's really pretty. Like these are starting to look kind of fun. We could do this for the outside, and then this green could be some of our leaves, and I don't know what this could be, but it's pretty. Maybe some stems, leaves and stems, that'd be pretty. And this for the outside, the hearts, and let's just find a couple more that are kind of in this world. I kind of would like a purple in this kind of realm. Let's see what we got here. Left case, third column, closest to you. Left case, third column. This one, third column. This one, I don't think is enough variegated stuff going on. These are pretty up here. Oh, left case, third column, closest to me. Oh yeah, these ones are crazy town wacky. Let's see if we can fit in something from there. Maybe something with some blue in so it hooks into this. Oh, this one left. I want to look at this quick. Oh, you're thinking for the outside, the heart. Look at this. This one's kind of crazy. I don't know. I think maybe that's too much for me. Oh, this would be pretty for the heart. I think this kind of looks like this. This is a pretty combination we got going here. Let's get one thing that reads a purple and a blue, and we'll just use this as our look and figure it out from there what gets what. So let me just peek around here really quick. This is kind of a dusty, that's kind of pretty. Or this purple. What about this? Why don't we kind of just go with this? So I like this because these are all kind of, they feel similar. I feel like they're all going to meld together. Like, there's not one that's totally crazy. Like, it's not like we threw this guy in there. I mean, this guy looks out of place. It's got so much going on where these are all kind of muted, and they are, I'm sorry, I've just got stuff everywhere. There we go. They're all kind of the same amount of muted. Like none is just like a bright pink or anything. They're all a little dull. And I think that's just going to be a really pretty contrast to this crazy, really bold blue. So I don't know. Let's just go with that. Let's move on. How about that? I'm going to just put these guys away somewhere quickly. Got some pinks. This guy can go here maybe. I knew I got one from this other bin. So, all right, let's use those. I'm excited to use these Weeks Dye Works flosses again. Oh, that looks pretty. I think I'm liking that a lot. So the difference between this floss compared to some other floss that you might get from, you know, a big box store or something like DMC or something is this is all hand dyed. So I haven't had any of it bleed yet when I got it wet, but I'm kind of watching out for that. I do have some color catchers. Who's that by again? It's not Tide. I can't, like Shout, I think. And I have that on hand in case it bleeds, but you know, if anything is gonna bleed, it's gonna be this crazy blue fabric. And the threads, it's also shorter. I think it's only 5 yards instead of 8 yards, but we'll see how far we get with it. You know, you can get it at quilt shops that have it. You know, it's kind of a specialty brand, so, you know, nice quilt shops might carry it. I would just do a Google search for Weeks Dye Works. See if I can figure out, oh, here, this one you can see the logo on it. I must have used this one. Oh yeah, I used this one for my block. All that purple we almost ran out of. So here's the brand. It's Weeks Dye Works, if you want to look it up. But you know, it's variegated floss, and most brands make variegated floss. So if you want to play around with variegated, I mean, it's relatively easy to find. I just think that this Weeks Dye Works stuff is just beyond pretty. They have a huge selection too. Okay, let's get going. I kind of want to start on the heart first. I don't know why. I just like it. So we're going to do the heart, and it is the chain stitch, so, according to our chart here. So I'm going to do the chain stitch for it. I'm going to do 2 different ways. I'm going to show you just 2 different ways of chain stitching. And I think I'm going to do one version coming up like this and one version coming down like this for the chain stitch. So once we get to here, I'll show you the other type of chain stitch. I don't know if we'll get that far tonight, but hopefully. So I'm just going to grab some floss here. I'm grabbing kind of like 2.5 feet. I kind of like a little bit longer floss. Not everyone likes that. You can always get more floss though, so it's okay. So I'm doing that kind of dusty red. What's it called? I gotta find out what it's called. Oh, red pear. So isn't this pretty? They just have the best names. Red pear. I want to see what the other ones are. So this is red pear. We have peach. Well, that goes with red pear. I wonder if they're all fruit names. That'd be pretty funny. Oh, Confederate gray. That's a cool color. A cool name. Cinnabar. I think that looks appropriate. And what's this one? Oh, blue heron. Ugh, the best names. Love it. Yeah, so tasty black. Okay, so I like using 3 strands of floss. You can use however many strands you want. The less strands you use, the thinner the line. The more strands you use, the thicker your line. And it also depends on the stitch. Like a chain stitch is inherently a thick stitch. So if I use 3 strands on the chain stitch, it's going to look twice as fat at least as if I do 3 strands on a back stitch, but that's fine. I mean, I think that's kind of the design to have the heart kind of thick. So I heard recently from someone on here, shout out if you're the one that said this, but I usually take 3 strands of thread to split them. So I take 3 strands in each hand and kind of just let them dangle and pull them like this. But apparently, I've shown you the way to pull 1 strand out at a time and then put them back together. Supposedly that lets your stitches lie flatter. So I don't know, I thought we'd give that a little test today. So I'm gonna pull them out one at a time, and how you do that is you grab 1 strand, you hold the rest of them in your hand, in your finger, between 2 fingers like that, and you just pull, and it all gathers like crazy right behind you, like that, and it comes out, it just all releases perfectly. So that's the first strand. I think I have a little blip in here though, that it doesn't like. There we go. You've heard that too? Oh, that's what you learned from cross stitch. Oh, okay. It will not. Oh, to just pull it like this? No, it shouldn't not. Which is just so funny. It's just such a neat trick. So here's the second piece. You have to do it 1 at a time though. If you don't do it 1 at a time, it will not be crazy. But there you go. Second one, just pull and it releases. And 1 more. Let's stretch it all out though. I mean, if you had a really, really long strand, then it might get knotted. But nope. As long as you pull just 1, you can keep... Oop, actually that just wrapped around itself. I saw it happen. Let's try that one again. Ah, no, now I might have a knot. Spoke too soon, huh? I saw the loop wrap around the rest of the loop. Oh, there we go. I got it loose there. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, you jinxed me. All right, so then here are our other 3 strands. So I don't know, would I have to, before using these strands, would I have to pull them all out too? Because that seems kind of weird. I was so happy when I learned from you. Oh, I missed that. Oh, ruin saved, yep. All right, so I'm gonna just put these other 3 strands to the side, and I'm gonna grab the ends of the 3 that we pulled out. Just kind of place them back together and just kind of even them out. Pull them till they're all in line with each other. There we go. Oh, so yes, still remove them from each other. Okay, well, we'll give that a go. All right, so I usually start an embroidery with an away knot. And, oh yeah, I used to do that too. I don't do that anymore though. Only in emergencies, but that doesn't happen very often. So, all right, I'm just gonna tie a little knot at the end there. This will be our away knot, and I'll show you what that's all about here. Okay, so moving on to needles. I have like this crazy pile of needles here, but here is what I like using for embroidery is a size 5 embroidery needle, and I'll just show you the difference again between a different needle. So this is a size 5 embroidery needle versus just I don't know what the size of this one is, but a sharp sewing needle. So there's 2 main things to look out when you want an embroidery needle. You want the eye to be larger. So look at the difference between the eyes. Like this is just itty bitty, and this is big, and that's only because you need to hold a whole lot more thread, right? We're holding 3 strands of fluffy embroidery floss versus teeny tiny, 50 weight Aurifil floss. So a bigger eye. The other thing you want to look for is a sharp point. So that's important if you're used to doing cross stitching, because a cross stitch needle looks like an embroidery needle, but it has a blunt tip. And for embroidery, you're going to want a sharp tip because it's got to pierce the fabric, and a blunt needle makes that really difficult. With cross stitch, you want a blunt needle because you're going through all those tiny holes in that cross stitch fabric, that Ada fabric, and you don't want to pierce the fabric in that case. So they're kind of opposites in that sense. So you want a sharp point and a big eye, and most of the time it'll say embroidery right on the packaging, but those are the two main things you're looking for. All right, so I'm going to just thread the needle, and we haven't embroidered in a while. I feel like, wow, I haven't said these things in a while. So, all right, how I thread the needle is I don't hold it out in front of me like that and try and get it in the hole there. I mean, that's just really difficult. First of all, clip it so you have a nice sharp edge. So I just clipped it straight across there. So here's how I thread my needles. Let me try and get in focus here a little bit more. All right, so I squish it between my thumb and forefinger, or pointer finger. There we go, that's a little bit more in focus. So you can squeeze it, and if you release a little bit, then you start to see it poke out right there. You can kind of see it there. So you're just going to kind of make that motion. So you're going to unsqueeze it a little bit, and the moment you see it right there, you put the eye of the needle over it. And then you just keep unsqueezing, and it goes right into the eye of the needle. So I'll just do that again just to show you. Oops, I moved my threads around. Let's just squish them all back. There we go. So again, just squish and undo it a little bit, and the moment I see it, plop the eye right on top, and then just keep going. And you can grab it, and then you're threaded. It's magic! I know, I kind of love that. When I figured that out, I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I don't remember where I learned that. I probably read it somewhere, who knows. Okay, so I'm going to start at this point here, go around the heart, and then come back this way. When I go this way, I'm going to do it the traditional way, like the way I first learned how to do a chain stitch. And when I go back this way, I'm going to show you my new way of doing chain stitch. So we'll see how that goes. But to start, I'm going to make an away knot. And what that is a knot that's about, 3 or 4 inches away, anywhere away from where I'm going to start stitching. And the reason for that is I don't like knots on the back of my embroidery, and having this amount of stitching here will allow me to cut that knot off later and weave in my ends. And I'll show you that once we finish this this thread. So I'm going to start here and go around here. So I want my thread out of my way. So I'm going to go from the front to the back right here. This is not going to get in the way of any of my initial heart stitching. It's really kind of difficult to see the design on there, isn't it? It's kind of light. All right. So there we go. And we made that knot. And we call that our away knot. And that's just going to sit right there. Okay. On to the chain stitch. This is how I learned how to do chain stitch. So I'm going to come up right at the starting point, right at the tip of that heart, and pull it tight. So there you can see our big jump in the thread, and that's what we'll weave in when we're all done. Ooh, this is going to be so pretty. Look, we can get a sense of what that pinky color, what is it? The pear, red pear. What red pear is going to look like on this blue. Because the blue is the same on both sides for this fabric. So that's going to be pretty. All right. So for the chain stitch, you want to make a loop. So you can kind of see I'm making a loop like this. You don't have to make it that big, but you want to be thinking I'm making a loop. And then you're going to go right back in the hole you came out of and go in. But before you pull all the way through, you're going to go a stitch length ahead. So I don't know, about, it could be 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. However big you want to make your stitches is just fine. But you want to do that in that loop that you did. Then you can start pulling. And since I've gone on the inside of that loop, when the loop comes around, it gets stopped by by my thread. So there we can see, I don't know if we're in focus, but there's our first chain stitch. So to keep going, I like grabbing it with my thumb so I can make that loop like this. So here's kind of my next loop. I'm going to stick the needle right back in where we came and up through the loop. You know, I'm still on the line, a stitch length away, and then pull. And again, my thread is gonna hold that loop in place. So another way you can do this, I'll do one more. So again, I'm just kind of looping it over. I always push it to the side so I can see my loop. So I'm gonna go in, hold it in place with my thumb is always kind of helpful. Going in the exact same place I came out of, going a stitch length away, through the loop, and pulling. And there we go. We got 3 cute little stitches so far. Ugh, chain stitch is one of my favorite stitches. I love it so much that for my block, which was block 11, it was completely based on the chain stitch and the idea that chain stitch looks like a crochet chain stitch. Like it looks exactly the same. Let's see. I think mine are a hair less than a 1/4 inch, so maybe 3/16 of an inch are mine right now. But you know, I could do them smaller, I could do them bigger. This looked good to me right now. You can play around with it. I don't think you have to have your stitches all the same stitch length the whole entire time either. Sometimes, and you might see that later when I do some of these arcs, but sometimes I use bigger stitches, like longer stitches on straightaways like this, and I'll shorten them up on curves. I do that more around tight curves, just because then you can get the angle of those, or those arcs of those curves a little bit better when you're using more stitches. But I kind of like that. It's like, vroom, and then, straight away where you have to slow down a little bit, or a curve where you have to slow down a little bit, and then you get to speed up on the straightaway. So I kind of like the variation. I don't know. I think, you can try and get them the same too. I'll probably, for this heart, since it's just like a nice, nice pretty shape. We'll just see how it goes. I don't think about it too much, but to keep it the same length, what I do is I'm looking at the length that I did right before. So I'm just trying to copy that, right? So I did about this length before, a little bit more would be right about there. That's the same amount. And then as I'm stitching, I'm continuously looking at the one I did right before, but then I'm looking back, like I'm taking an assessment of all my stitches. And if I'm like, wow, I'm getting kind of longer and longer and longer stitches, then I'll start shortening them up. And if I just do it gradually, then overall it'll have the same sort of feel. So I'm going to do one more chain stitch like this, and then I'll show you kind of a different way to do this exact same chain stitch. If you don't like the stab method, which, you stab, pull your needle all the way through, and then pull it all the way up. Some people don't like that method. So the other method is, I have to hold it with this hand. So I'm making the loop still, and I'm going in the same hole, but I'm going to come out of the line, on the line, but I'm doing it with the same stitch of the needle. So I'm still going through this loop. I'm just not pulling the needle all the way through and then coming up. I'm going right through at the same time. There, like that. So let's try that again. Again, I got to get my loop going. So in the same hole, and then let's try that again. In the same hole, and then out right away. Like that, through the loop. And there we go. So that's another way you can do it if that's more comfortable for you. I'm going to rotate this way again. I personally like the stab method. I feel like you can get a little bit more precision with it. And I mean, it takes a little bit longer in theory because you have to put your needle down and then go around and come back up. So it's a little slower. But I find I think I watched a video that was wrong in doing this. Oh, I mean, you know, there's all sorts of ways to do things. But I also like the stab method when I'm using Fabricelli because I'm going straight down with the needle and coming straight out with the needle. And I think that helps with the precision since we have kind of two layers of things going. If I angle it down, I might be going in at the right spot on the Fabricelli, but a little bit further down the line in the fabric. So I like the stab method for that reason too. Just like it goes straight up and down. So we'll just cruise around here. I'm starting to see a little bit of the variegated. I don't know if you guys can see it. All these ones are pretty subtle with the variegated, but there's a couple lighter little stitches in here and a couple darker ones. I think it's going to be awfully pretty. I need good excuses to use all this fun thread. And Splendid Sampler's perfect. Because usually when I'm doing my own stuff, I just use the thread I've had, like, you know, since I was making friendship bracelets, really. And, you know, because just for me, you know, so I feel fancy right now. So, all right, you can do the loop either way you want. You know, I was going up like this, in this direction, but now I'm doing it the other direction just because it's easier for my thumb to hold it and keep it out of the way. Maybe I have something confused. Is the same stitch if you split the threads? Oh no, so Ardra, that's something else. That's called a split stitch. And maybe we'll do a split stitch for one of these. I don't think it's in her list, but maybe we'll do some of that. I should have done like a little embroidery lesson before, and I did that once before. And maybe we could do another one of those. But yeah, well, why don't we pretend this is a sampler? I mean, there's so much going on in this design that we could almost practice a bunch of stitches. Like, for example, all these leaves and these petals, the designer has them as back stitches, but all these leaves, I think, are small enough, and they'd be a great opportunity to do like a lazy daisy stitch. Actually, a single chain stitch. A lazy daisy stitch is just a bunch of chain stitches in a circle. And, you know, we could maybe do those for these petals as well. But, you know, it might be fun to play with that. And, you know, some of these could be back stitched and some could be split stitch. So we can see a whole pile of looks. I think that'd be kind of fun. Yeah, let's just treat this as a sampler. And I mean, we got all these little loops around here that we could do that. So you're going down a hole, you come up in, yeah. So I'm going down the hole I come up in, and then I'm coming up a stitch length away. There, so you can kind of see here. But I'm coming up a stitch length away inside the loop. And it's being inside the loop that makes the chain because my thread is in its way. So the loop can't go all the way back through. It's being caught by my thread. And that's what makes the stitch. So I'm just going to keep going around. So sometimes when the thread hangs a little funny like that, I'll put the needle to make the stitch, and then I'll have to loop it over the needle again. Ooh, we are definitely going into some lighter pink here. It's looking cute. There you go, we're a little more focused. You did a split stitch on the Be Brave. Oh, cool. Oh, you know, a split stitch is great too. I don't think it makes a stitch quite as thick as a chain stitch, but what I really love about a split stitch is that it's really organic looking. And what I mean, I guess, you know, I call it organic looking, but what it looks like is a nice solid line. Like you almost can't see the stitches. It's just like a bold line. Whereas with a chain stitch or with a back stitch, you can really see the little stitches. Like this looks like a bunch of little chains, where our back stitch looks like a lot of little, beads in a row almost. But a split stitch looks like a nice solid line. Yes, a nice smooth line. And I don't know, it's really pretty. All the stitches are pretty. And, one thing I love about embroidery is that you can know just one stitch and your embroidery is going to look super fun and cute. Oh, that is no problem. Stick with me here, and we'll go through a bunch of stitches. I think we'll treat this as a sampler. I think it just kind of almost looks like a sampler. All right, we're almost around, but I think I'm going to run out of floss before I get there. So we'll have to start the next thing of floss. Oh, I know, autocorrect is kind of crazy. Oh man, I'm loving this floss. It's such a pretty color. And honestly, it's the name. The name totally makes it for me. The split stitch is such a nice clean line. I still really love the chain stitch though, because it looks like a crocheted chain stitch. And I just like how thick it ends up being. It's like this little pretty chain just laying on the top of the fabric. I think it's one of my favorites for sure. Still trying to get in the middle of these. It's getting a little more difficult now just because my thread is short and it's wanting to loop up on itself, but I'm still making sure I go in the middle of that loop when I come up. This is such a crazy blue fabric. I have a feeling your eye's going to go directly to this block because this fabric's all crazy, but oh well. That's perfectly fine. I think everybody's eye will go to a different block when they look at these Splendid Sampler quilts. Man, soon we're going to have like 10,000 Splendid Sampler quilts all over. Yeah, it's this kind of marbled, tie-dyed look. Alright, I'm getting close to the end. Oops, it looks like I stitched through my thread. So I accidentally stitched through my thread and kind of made a little knot. So let's see if I can undo that, otherwise I'll just be stuck here. And I think I'm just stuck. So I have like a little knot going right. Oh wait, there we go. We were close enough to the end that it came out. So let me trim my end again and we'll re-thread it, re-floss it. All right. I can get a few more stitches out of this. So one thing when you're doing your chain stitch is you don't have to pull it super tight. I just pull it until I like the shape of it. So I just pull it till I got like a nice kind of bloopy little soft chain. If I keep pulling it really tightly, it's gonna almost look like a squished line. You don't have to pull it as hard as you can. All right, I think I'm gonna end that thread right there. And to end a row of chain stitches, you need to jump to the other side of the chain. So we've come up through our chain. Now I'm going to just go right to the other side of that loop and stitch down. I'm not in the exact same hole, but I'm about, 2 threads or less, 1 or 2 threads away from it. So you can kind of see, I think you can see on the side there. There, I'm on one side of the loop through the inside of the loop and then on the outside of the loop. And that is just going to hold our last loop in place. So there's a little anchor stitch right there. So all right, and so that's how much we got out of our first thing of thread. That's looking pretty good. We got pretty far. So I'm gonna tuck in that thread in the back, and then I think I'm gonna start the next thread, and I'll go to here, and then tomorrow night we'll do the other way of doing the chain stitch. So this is only one way of doing the chain stitch. I have a new way that I actually like a little bit better, and we'll do that on this side. But let's first finish this up. I'm going to just weave in the ends. So I don't like tying knots on the back of my embroidery. I think they come out easier than if you weave in the ends. And when you weave in the ends, then when you're stitching, you're not accidentally getting caught on all the knots in the back. And it just makes a way cleaner back. So I'm just going to weave it in 3 times. So it's a little difficult because I'm right near the edge of my embroidery hoop. But so I weave it once that way. And once back the other way. And I'm trying to grab as many threads as I can because I really want it to stick in there, to get all knotted up in other threads. All right, and one more to lock it in place. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of, 1, 2, 3, all trying to catch as many threads as you can, and then I am just going to trim that so it's nice and short. And there we go. Nice little end with no knot. And now I'm going to actually, we'll take care of this away knot right away. So I'm going to just pull it up a little bit so I'm away from the fabric, and I'm going to cut that knot right off. So here's my knot. That's garbage. And now, since there's no knot, it goes through to the back. And I'm going to just thread this little end here and weave that in as well, just like how we did. So it uses up a little bit more floss from the get-go, but I think it's worth it not having the knot on the back. That's my opinion, at least. Everyone does it a little differently. So, oops, I'm gonna just weave it in a few times. So, and then speaking of the next few nights, we are having family in town. John's mom is coming. We haven't seen her in a while. She's flying in from California tonight. We're picking her up like an hour after the scope. And so I'll be on tomorrow night, but we have one of John's cousins is getting married, so she's flying in for that and staying with us. So I'll be here tomorrow night, most likely still, so Friday night, but Saturday night is the wedding, so I'm not going to be here Saturday. And Sunday, we have dinner reservations, so I think I'll probably be missing Sunday as well, which is New Block Day, so that's a bummer. But Monday, I should be back here again. But then Tuesday is my painting class, so I won't be here again. So we're going to have a lot of missed days coming up here soon, but it's going to be okay. We'll figure it out. We'll get all these things done eventually. All right, I'm going to just grab that other, these are the 3 that we had earlier. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's exciting. I haven't seen John's mom in a while, so I'm excited. So I'm going to do that thing where, even though we have 3 threads here already, I'm going to try that thing where we separate them and put them back together, just for the idea of, maybe they do lay flatter. We'll see. I do think they might have been laying flatter for this It did feel really silky and smooth while I was stitching, so maybe this is a thing. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be a really nice weekend. It's gonna be great. And what's funny is right after she leaves, my parents are coming up here. I think the same day, so we can take them to the airport because they're going on a little trip, but they're flying out of here, so they're gonna stay overnight, and then we're gonna bring them to the airport and then pick them up a week later. So that'll be a. Actually, I don't know how that's gonna work because that's my painting class. So maybe I don't know how that's gonna work yet. They'll have to hang out with John for a little while, and then they can come pick me up, and we'll go to dinner or something. But yeah. Family up all over the place these past few weeks, which is just awesome. We really like it. Oh, you know what? I tied a knot in this just out of habit. I don't actually need to do that this time. I'm gonna start by weaving in the ends, not by doing another away knot. So I'm gonna start just weaving in the ends right up here again. I want to end up right here, so I'm gonna start 1, 2, 3 that way. Again, this is a little difficult because I'm right on the edge here. Oh, I'm selfish one. Oh, do the next summer days, yeah. Yeah. I'll probably most likely, I'm planning on being here on Friday which is tomorrow already, sheesh. Friday and Monday, unless we end up eating somewhere. But so this from here on out, it's kind of a question mark till Wednesday. But I'm still here. We'll come back. All right. So I'm just gonna pull that and one more through. I'll trim this little end before we get started. But yeah, so I'm gonna just finish up this little bit of a heart, this side of the heart, and we'll call it a night for the night. All right. Again, I still don't have any knots in here. Oh, there you go. Get caught up on a few blocks. Oh, speaking of that, I'm still behind in uploading. I'm trying to get the videos up from when I was gone, and I tried uploading last night's video. It's all going up. It's just taking a little while. I'm hoping to get this one up and last night's up tonight yet. We have like an hour or so before we can pick up John's mom. So, all right, to start the chain stitch, again, I'm going to pretend I never ran out of thread. So I'm going to come up right in the middle of the last loop. I'm going to ignore that anchor stitch that I did, and I'm going to just come up right through that last loop. Oh, when counting them sick and got behind. Yep, that's how it goes. But there we go. So I'm gonna just keep going until I get to the end here. And our first stitch will cover up that anchor stitch that we did when we finished the last row or the last thread. So we won't even know that we stopped there. See, you can't see it at all. It's as if we just kept going. And, I'm rotating my hands and embroidery hoop, and I'm just doing it to how it feels comfortable. If you feel like you're twisting all over the place, like your hands all crazy and whatever, try just rotating your workspace. I usually rotate so that this hand can hold down the thread, because it's hard when the thread's way far away and I have to hold. I'm using a 6-inch hoop. I tend to like using a hoop big enough that I can put my entire design in, because then I'm not having to undo it and move it around all the time, even though I am going to undo it when we're done here just so it doesn't crease. But if I'm doing it all at once, I like it just to be big enough to hold the design in. But it doesn't matter. You can undo it and move it around. A few more stitches here. And then tomorrow night we'll do the my new way of doing a chain stitch. And you know, it might be your old way of doing it, but it's new to me, so I'm calling it my new stitching. I think I tried it out actually for the first time on my block, or just right before my block. No time, you got other quilts to finish before sewing new blocks. That's good. A good reason to get them done. Mine is 6 also, but yours looks like you got all the design in here. Oh, yeah, I mean, I trimmed it pretty close to the edge. I mean, like, look here, I'm really close to the edge here. So it just barely fits. I'm pretty sure this is a 6-inch. I suppose we can measure it. I'm pretty sure it's a 6-inch though, because my my kits, I have embroidery kits, and for those they're 8-inch. So I'm pretty familiar with the 8-inch hoop, and this is smaller, and I think it usually goes by 2-inch increments. Not all the time, I suppose, but you know, maybe this is a 7-inch. Let's just peek. You know what? I think this might be a 7-inch. Yeah, it's a 7-inch. So it's a 7-inch. That would be why. I'm sorry about that. It's a 7-inch one. But a 6-inch one should work perfectly fine. You'll just move it around to the area you're stitching on. So your 6-inch probably fits the heart just fine. You'll just have to move it a little to get the flowers in. So sorry, yep, this is a 7-inch. It's funny, it doesn't, you know, you kind of wish that they'd have those all marked on here. I guess some of the plastic ones have them marked. All right, this is going to be my last stitch for the night. And there we go. And again, I'm going to put my little anchor stitch in there as well to hold down that loop. I'm just moving the hoop around to start the stitches. When you're putting it in the hoop, you want to not yank your fabric too much, because that will distort the stitches. Like if you're really pulling in a lot of directions, you know, on the bias, it'll stretch a little bit. So when you put in the hoop, I only pull it just enough to have it taut. I don't want it to go all over the place. However, this is an embroidery stabilizer, this Fabricelli, so this should hold your fabric in place a little bit too, and reduce all the stretching around. But there we are. Here is the first half of the heart. Oh, I love the chain stitch. I just think this is going to be the cutest. Oh, and let's peek. So this is what the color will look like on the blue. It'll be thicker though. It'll be the thick stitch. I think it's going to be fun doing this in colors. I wasn't really planning on that. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I'm digging it. I'm loving this color. This is the red pear. So all right, I'm not going to tuck this in, because I'm going to use this tomorrow, but I will take it out of the hoop for the night. Oh wow, I tightened that quite a bit. There we go. And again, just taking it out of the hoop when you're not working on it will, oops, I got my thread looped around in there. It will help reduce the creasing. And I mean, we're gonna press it when we're done, but if you're using like a linen, you'll definitely want to take it out. You could also, I know some people do this, and I don't do that very often because I don't know, I guess I'm just lazy, but some people wrap their inside hoop with some fabric before they put the outside hoop on, and that also makes kind of like a more rounded edge, so you won't crease your fabric as much. So if you're worried, you can do something like that. And you know, you can just Google how to do that, like wrapping your embroidery hoop will probably get you there. But yeah, you're just wrapping some fabric around it, just so it's a little kind of rounder. But all right, there we are for the night. I will flip you around, and I should be here tomorrow night. So this clearly is going to be one of those projects that we're not going to finish in the allotted time, especially since I'm not going to be here for a lot of it. And it took this whole time to do the one. Oh, I'm really liking all the different subtle color shifts in this variegated floss too. But we will, we'll pick it up when we can. I'm going to just stick the needle in here in the corner for now, just to store it. And all right, I'm going to flip you around and we can see what it looks like with a giant head next to it. All right, hey guys. So, thanks for spending the evening with me. I appreciate it a ton. But here we go. It's our first little heart. This is a pretty heart. Some hearts are just drawn really well and they're pretty. This is a nice, perfectly, arced heart. I like it. This is going to be super cute. I'm going to really, really like this one, I think. We got a whole pile of unfinished embroidery blocks, though. We might have to have a full-on embroidery day. Oh, God, even with an embroidery day, I don't think we'll get all the embroidery done. My arm will break before that happens. So we'll eventually get all these embroideries done, though. So thanks for coming for Black 60 tonight. I hope some of the embroidery stuff that we talked about at the beginning, I hope that helps a little bit if you're new to embroidery. This should be up tomorrow on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, so you can check it out there. Otherwise, you guys who are on Periscope here already, you can just watch the Periscope replay. However, it'll be more HD and clear and probably easier to see on YouTube. And you can blow it up big on your computer too if you want. But all right, have a great night and have a great Friday tomorrow. Thanks, guys. You're the best.